Okay, guys, this is gonna be super, super duper casual. I'm gonna just like pre-warn you in advance. I'm definitely gonna be taking bites of this in between me talking. I'll pause the recording so it's not like awkward when you watch it on the replay. But I'm like starving and want something sweet. So that's gonna be happening. But okay, so let's just dive right in. My quote that I found for tonight was, "Don't live the same year 75 times and call it a lifetime." And that really struck me because it was like, I broke it down even just per day. Like, are you living the definition of insanity? You know what I mean? Where you are just doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting something magical to happen, right? So I really liked that quote. And I feel like it kind of tied into tonight because we're going to be talking all about like just things that I wish I would have known when I first started, and what I would do if I had to start my business over. So first and foremost, this is in no particular order. And this took some thinking because I don't know what I wish I would have known, you know? So I had to sit here for a while and like really think about what I wanted to tell you guys, because I could have like listed 100 things or I could have listed nothing. So thing number one that I wish I would have known was, we talk about it all the time, but just making sure that you're organizing your potentials. And like, I just wish I would have known that from the get-go. So I'm really happy that our leadership now and our training materials now really implement helping our new distributors get organized right away and get started with the journal and their journaling and their, you know, keeping track of their potentials from the get-go. So let's keep doing that. But that's definitely one thing. As well as like getting phone numbers earlier in the conversation. So that's why I love utilizing our influencer apps, because I have people's phone numbers right away now. So if I'm ever blocked on social, it's not that big of a deal because I can text them, right? Now, obviously not everyone fills out the application, and you know, there's some people that I'm still talking to on Instagram or whatever it is, but having people's phone numbers and then immediately implementing it or inputting them into the Connect app, because the Connect app will make things so much easier if you utilize it from the start. It would take me literally months to go through and upload all of my potentials into the Connect app. So as someone who's, you know, less than a year in the business, less than 2 years in the business of like truly working it and getting potentials every day, I would suggest going back through and just like adding those in and starting now if you're after that point, you know what I'm saying, to put them in. Because what you can do is just go in and mark them all as PDTs or PLCs, and you can group message them. And it's not going to group message them like in an actual group message. It will send them individually, but you can just go through and boom, send. And sending 150 follow-up messages will take you 5 minutes versus 3 hours. It would take me to like manually go through and add all those, right? Whatever it is. That's like it doesn't take me 3 hours to get through that many. But point being, that's definitely number one. And then number two, I wrote some people are here for a season, and I just wish that I would have known that it's not personal and it's not on you, and it's not a reflection of your leadership or the way that you work your business or the way that you train them or whatever it is. It's on them. And ultimately, it's their business that they're building or they're not. And when people quit, it's really hard not to like get upset about that, right? But something that I wish I would have known is that it has absolutely nothing to do with me, because I know I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of every single day and say that I gave this person tasks to accomplish that would lead them to success. I was giving them the self-development. I was showing up for them and showing them that I had faith. I was being a real person and asking how they were and genuinely being interested in their life and what they have going on, right? Like I can honestly say those things. So it doesn't offend me when someone leaves. Now, if you're not doing those things and someone leaves and you feel guilty about it, maybe that's something that you need to look at, and maybe you need to start taking your training a little bit more seriously, but I can't answer which of those it is for you. But just know, if you're new and you're watching this on a replay, it's not personal, and some people are going to be lifers and will be here for the long run. And I hope to God that that's everyone that I enroll, but the reality is that's just not the case. And some people are going to be here for literally one hot second and fill out their e-suite and never do anything. Some people are going to be here for a year. Some people have been with me 2.5 years and have just now left the company. You know what I'm saying? So just know that it's okay and it's not you. The other thing is, I just wrote, expect this to happen and keep enrolling. Don't get comfortable. So meaning like, don't get comfortable with your 4 people. You're like, oh my God, I have 4 people who are just freaking killing it. Like they're on fire. They're totally taking care of their leg, whatever. And so you take your foot off the gas because your team's killing it. No, you have to still be leading from the front. You still have to be pushing as hard as you possibly can, or whatever, for your promotion and for them. But you should always be in the front. You shouldn't be like riding off of your team, right? Okay. The other thing that I wrote down is number 3, is what I wish I would have known when I first started, is resting is okay. If you haven't done this already, I highly suggest that you make working hours for yourself. If you guys haven't noticed, and I've been kind of like making this known too, that I am not really working past 9 p.m. That's because 9 times out of 10, when I'm not this last week, but 9 times out of 10, I'm up at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. So I don't need to be up till 1 a.m. in the morning because I'm getting up early, right? If I was someone who started my day at 8 a.m., you bet I'm not going to bed till 10 midnight, whatever it is, to get my stuff done. And I have the luxury of being home now, but I did start this when I was working full time. So I had to work this around my schedule. And Connor and I were talking about the other night, what our life looked like when I was pushing for Ruby and for Emerald and for Diamond, because we were kind of laughing. He's like, you never slept and I never saw you, but it was okay because you were pushing so hard. And that's why I promoted so quickly. You know what I mean? It's because I was willing to do the grind. So resting is okay. Set working hours for yourself, regardless of what that looks like. So if you work, they're going to look a lot different than mine, given that I have 100% freedom of time, right? So you're just going to have to look at your schedule and see when works for you. But the biggest thing is, if you hate that you're working 24/7, then you need to change it. And if you hate that you're only working an hour a day and you're beating yourself up because you're not working enough, you need to change it. You are the only person, you're a business owner. You're not at a job. My job is not to tell you how many hours you need to work at this. It's not your leader's job. It's not anyone's job to tell you how much you should be showing up for this business. That is completely and entirely up to you. And one of the things that I've heard on a couple different Zooms is like, if your spouse is telling you that you 24/7 are on your phone and you never pay attention to them, you need to listen to that. And you need to pour into that, because your spouse is part of the reason why you're doing this, right? So you can't just ignore them. That's why I clock out and I don't really respond to you guys after 9 p.m. because Connor and I are hanging out, and that's when our time is, because I get up in the morning and do all my stuff during the day. And then when Oakland goes to bed, that's him and I's time. So listen to that. At the same time, you are going to have to sacrifice, and your spouse or your person will have to understand that you're going to have to give and take, and there's going to be some negotiation to be had. But just know that no one's controlling your schedule but you. So or, you know, you put so much pressure on yourself, like, oh my gosh, I'm working 24 hours all the time. Well, why? No one told you you needed to do that to succeed. And the fact that you think that you have to work so damn hard to be successful might be the reason why you're not yet. You know what I mean? Okay. I just said, take the time you need to work, rest, be with family, work your business, etc. But figure it out. Like, you gotta either time block or come up with a task list or whatever it is. But you just really have to start getting serious about where your time is going. Okay. Hang on, I'm gonna pause this really fast. Okay. The other thing that I wish I would have known, number 4, is if you have to convince them to join you, you absolutely will have to convince them to work. Do not pay for people's distributor kits. Do not sit there and whatever. You guys, I've done that in the past. Okay? I'll be completely honest. I've totally done that. And you know what? Every single one of them has quit. Because if you're not willing to invest the freaking $40 in your business, they're not willing to invest even a half an hour of their time. I guarantee it. They can go return cans. They can find the startup cost. When there is a will, there is a way. Go find free cans. Post something on like Malala Now or whatever it is, wherever you live. Does anyone have cans that they're willing to give away? I want to start my own business and I'm saving up or whatever, you know, like help them get creative. We have such easy ways to pre-sell samples now. There's just no excuse. But anyways, point being, you're going to have to convince them to work. I saw in a recent training, and I was so proud of you, Destiny, that you caught this, because you sent me a message the other day and you added it to the end of your message. And granted, it was a distributor, not a potential, but I've been saying this to my potentials as well. And I've had to grow a little bit more balls with it, because I've always just enrolled somebody, like whoever wants to join, I'm taking them, you know, and I'm getting a little bit more picky and a little bit more serious about who my distributors are and who we're welcoming into this organization, because I've written out what my ideal distributor is. I know what that looks like. I know that they're self-motivated. I know that they are inspired and excited and ready for more in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have to convince them to work. So, on this recent training, point being, it was on the push, but I loved that she said, like, one of the biggest things that you'll hear people say is like, well, is there a commitment? Do I have to sign a contract? Or like, you know, you'll hear things, or people will have excuses for not wanting to make the commitment or wanting to quit, or what, you know, what happens if I want to leave? And I love that she said, if you're already thinking about quitting, this probably isn't for you. And point blank period, if you're asking me before you've even joined how you can cancel your account, this probably is not a good fit for you, because you don't have a long-term mindset. You are going to be the microwave distributor who wants $100,000 tomorrow, and you're going to come bitching to me when you didn't get that. Well, that's because you don't have an entrepreneurial mindset. So you need to start shifting your thinking on what kind of distributors you truly want to welcome into this business. And it's okay to be honest. And honestly, I've said that to a couple people, and they're like, no, I'm not, you know, I'm super excited about this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it just goes back to, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person and the right thing to the wrong person. So if you piss them off, chances are they were probably not going to work, and they probably were not going to join. You know what I mean? Okay. Number 5, your job is not to tell people what they want to hear or to stroke their ego. Potential, distributor, customer, don't care what it is. If a customer is coming to me telling me that they are not seeing results, but they have not texted me back since the day that they purchased their product, and they refuse to send me before and after photos, and they're not taking my instruction on how to properly take care or take the product, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So I'm not going to say that, obviously, because that's totally rude. But we're going to have the conversation of, okay, how are you taking these? You know, I haven't seen any before photos. Like, you got to hold people accountable. Same thing with potential. You know, if you're talking to a potential distributor and they're like, oh my gosh, like, am I going, you know, I need to make $2,000 by 60 days from now because I have a wedding, and if I don't have that, then I don't want to join or whatever. And you tell them that they're totally going to make that or whatever, and you're just telling them what they want to hear instead of telling them, well, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work for you to make $2,000, in 60 days. This is not something that happens overnight. This is a business. So I'm more than willing to make that goal with you. And it's absolutely possible. I will never tell you that it's impossible, but it's going to take a lot of determination. So over the next 60 days, how committed to making that kind of income are you? You know what I mean? It's just a little bit more of a serious conversation. Same thing with distributors. I will not sit here, and if you are telling me that your goal is to go diamond, and then you turn around and the next sentence tell me that you don't have a single hap up, or maybe you didn't get your haps up but you have a full list of potentials, right? That's great. But if you're not getting your haps up and you're not getting your potentials, what do you expect to happen? Like diamond to just pop out of nowhere, right? So our job as leaders is to lead our people. It's not to make them happy 24/7. So you can be respectful about it, and you can have, a genuine, honest conversation. But the reality of this business is you are going to ruffle some feathers, and that's just okay. I don't have to make you happy all the time to be a good leader. And I don't have to make you happy all the time to make you successful, right? It creates growth. But ultimately, that's my job. Point blank period, is to show you how to be successful at this. It's always going to come from a place of love. And I expect the leaders on this team, when you have conversations like this or you are holding people accountable, that it's always with their best interest in mind, and that you truly are, like I said, coming from a place of love. Number 6, what I wish I would have known, is going to corporate events, getting on Zooms, and watching every freaking YouTube video that I could completely changed my business. Like, if people would have told me more and hyped more these events and getting on Zooms, like seriously, I just wish I would have known that from the get-go. And I didn't really dive into that until month 2 or 3 of my business. And it just completely changes everything. Like, I talked about it on the live and the team page the other day, but you just build this belief that you never had before about the products and corporate and what our company and what one team, one mission really means when you get to those things. And when you hop on Zooms like this, or when you watch a live, or when you watch a YouTube video, that's what we call staying close to the fire. And it's not for coincidence that we call it that. It's because this is the fire of where all the excitement is. This is where all of the growth that you're going to have is in those types of settings. Number 7, if your business isn't where you want it to be, it's because your mindset is not where it needs to be. So it's not about the enrollments that you need or the volume that you need. It is literally about the person that you need to become to earn that diamond paycheck, to promote. So you have to start stepping into who you want to be, the leader that you want to be, the distributor that you wish you had right now. And start with your mindset. If you are ever questioning, why haven't my enrollments come in? Why are things slowing down? Why is my team not excited? Well, it's probably because I'm not excited. It's probably because I'm not doing my tasks, right? It always, always, always stems from us. Okay. If I had to start my business completely over, what would I do? Someone asked me this the other day, and so I wanted to talk about this. I just would. I don't know what else I would do. I would literally just start over. I would start from scratch with new socials. And honestly, I've already had to do that, you guys. I was 2 years into my business and lost Facebook. I lost 2 years of work. I literally, as of March, which, hello, super fun, right when COVID happened, I've been rebuilding my business, my personal business. Right? I've had to start over already. And you just do. You do the work. You either have a choice. You can either, well, that sucks, or You can just figure it out. And it was like, well, I need to open 3 more Instagrams. I need to figure out how to work around this. And it's COVID, so it's not like I can do in-person events and all the things. So as we start opening back up, go watch my training video on YouTube called like Get Creative or something. It's like Get Creative About Your Business. And I give all different kinds of ways that I've had to adapt and different platforms that I've used and different things that I've done when certain events have come up in my business. But if I would ever have to start over, I would just start over and do the work all over again. So you just don't ever quit. The only way to fail literally is to stop showing up, is to stop working your business. That's the only way. So have fun, be consistent, do the things, and your promotion will come. But I'm going to stop the recording.